Hello everybody, this is Swarmlord39 of Almost Cool here with another episode of Danganronpa 2 and the final episode of Chapter 4, where we continue on to find out who exactly killed Nekomaru. And my initial suspicions on people who did it are gone. There's there's one person that I'm thinking is acting odd. Besides Nagito, which we already know why we already know part of the reason why he's acting on. But I've got a sinking suspicion. I know what happened, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in.
Hello. I'm trying to force myself to be I might as well have a layback. Yay! But be careful. And just like I say each time. I never. Oh well. Let's just press on ahead.
Is it really alright to accept a situation so easily?
I mean, that's not what's important. That the killer who used the building structure. Like, who's Nekomaru's murderer?
But is it really okay to believe the building is the weapon?
There's no way I'd lie. It's such an important...
What happened to the bastard who kept saying how much...
He's right. There was a time I will sincerely retract that remark.
Retract?
I'm disappointed too, you know? If this was a murder for the sake of hope...
There is no such thing as murder, forcibly sacrificing others for one's own
I see.
It's fine. Let's just leave him alone. Just so you know, it's not like I'm... Akane!
Anyway, if the killer used the building structure, why don't we think about
How they...
it might be better if we clarify.
That was his head being detached. Falling?
I see! That's it. I think he might have died from falling.
died from falling?
If the Funhouse's secret is that it's a structure where both towers and houses are vertically connected, then the killer made use of its height and caused Nekomaru to die from falling.
Are you saying they pushed him off?
That, I don't know yet.
Don't just... Where in that building would you even be able to push someone off in the first place?
They used the wire, tied him up to the grape door. Well, while he was in sleep mode, went to the when they were up in the strawberry house. Then went down to the grape house and took him down. He was attached to it then the wire yanked the doorknob out. He fell, hit the pillar, and yeah, more or less along those lines.
Possible in the tower. You could push him off the 4th floor when the elevator is on the 1st floor.
Did you forget how the elevator functions?
But my God.
Anywho.
When the elevator is on the 1st floor, you can't go through the door on the 4th floor.
It'd be impossible to shove off the victim from up there.
Then, how about this? After locking Nekomaru inside the elevator, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor and made use of the drop.
Hold on, did you forget the elevator has a sensor? As long as there's a moving object inside, the other door won't open. Which means the elevator wouldn't have moved either.
That must be the threshold of that elevator.
So we're gonna go back
When the elevator is on the 1st floor, you can't go through the door on the 4th floor.
It'd be impossible to shove off the victim.
Then, how about after locking Nekomaru inside, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st and made use of the drop.
Hold on, did you forget the elevator has a sensor? As long as there's a moving...
No, that's wrong!
Bing. His goodnight button.
That sensor should only work if something is moving. If Nekomaru wasn't moving inside, the
Could it be his sleep mode?
When Nekomaru's goodnight button is pressed, all of his functions shut down, and he enters sleep mode. If he's in sleep mode, the elevator sensor wouldn't have noticed him, right?
I see. So that's how...
However, even if they moved the elevator in, there would have been no...
That's what I was about to explain before Kazuichi interrupted me.
Silence, pest!
Now you're calling me a pest?
I know exactly how. Combination of that. Either the wire or the doorknob.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop within the elevator.
So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right?
That arrangement is...
The hammer is suspicious. Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
No? Okay, I should have kept going.
Crap!
Okay, my bad.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop...
So you're telling to think about the arrangement.
That arrangement... The hammer is suspicious. Isn't it about time...
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
How about we all shut up and listen to what Chiaki has?
Silence, pest!
Don't be so cold. What if I start to enjoy it?
Alright.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop within the elevator.
So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right?
That arrangement is...
The hammer is suspicious. Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
How about we all shut up and listen to what Chiaki has?
Silence, pest!
Don't be... What if I start to enjoy it?
I was gonna say, how can you create a difference in the elevator? Elevation.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop...
I guess let's try the
within
wire on the broken
Telling
doorknob?
us all to think about the arrangement, right?
That arrangement is...
The hammer is suspicious. Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems...
There we go. Yeah, so I was right thing, but I shouldn't have used the broken doorknob on the broken doorknob. I should have used a wire on the broken doorknob.
Didn't the doorknob have scrape marks on it? That might have been where it got scraped by the wire.
Is that the same wire that was tied around Nekomaru?
The tip of that wire was tied into a loop. If the elevator moved while that loop part hung from the doorknob...
If they did something like that, he would have been suspended in midair.
That's right. He was suspended in midair.
Huh?
The killer tied up Nekomaru with the wire while he was in sleep mode. Tied the tip of the wire into a knot and hung it on the doorknob to the 4th floor. With that, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor of Grape Tower. And suspended Nekomaru in midair.
That's right! He was so well hung!
You better not finish...
The killer took advantage of the elevator's unique feature. By doing that, they created a drop so...
Too easy.
Really?
They created a drop. There's no way you can make him fall. Why? If Nekomaru is suspended in midair? Because if he's suspended in midair, he won't die.
Okay, what do I got? I'm gonna say it's the actual...
Even if they suspended Nekomaru from a wall, how would they make him fall? There's no one in the tower to push him off. There's no way they could do that.
Doesn't mean someone had to push him off. It's possible that he fell on his own.
What? Nekomaru fell on his own?
No, not there.
Crap.
Okay.
What? Nekomaru fell on his own? Nekomaru should have still been in sleep mode, right? If he was sleeping, there's no way he could do that to him. Now's the time if you want it, but in that case... You still won't be able to explain. Moving the elevator with Nekomaru is just impossible. End of story. What? Nekomaru fell on his own? Nekomaru should have still been in sleep mode, right?
There we go.
Cut through those words.
That was it.
What do you think would happen if Nekomaru woke up while he was suspended upside down in midair?
What are you saying? Like, how would he even wake up?
He has an alarm inside his body. As long as it was armed, it would have deactivated his sleep mode. Which means the killer set the alarm before they suspended Nekomaru.
If you woke up from an alarm and realized you were hanging upside down and had no clue why,
Oh yeah.
if something like that happened to you, you would start panicking a lot, right?
Okay.
Instinctively, your body would start moving. Nekomaru probably did exactly that.
And then, in order to make him fall from the force he was generating, the wire was hung on the tip of the doorknob so it would easily slip off. In actuality, the scrape marks caused by the wire were near the tip of the doorknob, right?
But Nekomaru didn't fall because
He fell because the entire doorknob came off.
When Nekomaru awoke, he must have struggled much more than expected.
was that unexpected for the killer too?
Well, that's probably it. If they knew it'd leave behind evidence like that, they would have.
I see. So that's how
Do you finally understand now?
Yeah. It appears I'm just a pest. Isn't that right, Miss Sonia?
No, I believe you gave.
Hey!
This guy. So thanks to that alarm,
Beyond.
Nekomaru ended up falling while he was still. That doesn't mean he just crashed straight and.
Collided with the pillar.
I see!
When Nekomaru fell to the floor, he ended up colliding with the pillar. Isn't that it?
Finally, the pillar!
So that's how the pillar shattered, and why oil was spilled all over the place.
See, I told you the pillar was the weapon.
Well, the pillar was a bonus. It's.
At this point, it is quite difficult.
Then what about the alarm? I'm positive the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.
Hold on, baby gangsta.
Stop calling me baby gangsta!
What did you just say?
Did you?
You didn't check it yourself? Nekomaru's alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nah, that's impossible. Cause even though I slept in a little, I still got to the tower at 7 in the morning. Now that you mention it, so did I. There was no way I could be late for Monokuma Tai Chi, so I. And if we found Nekomaru's body there,
It appears yet how were you able to discover?
that's.
Make argument. It's gonna be.
We headed for Grape Tower before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside Nekomaru was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and the time the body was discovered. One of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did some tamp. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
No, that's wrong.
Yep. I got lucky. There was so many of those words around it.
No, the clock inside his chest was a radio clock, so it would have been impossible to mess with.
So you're saying there's no way the killer could have tampered with the clock?
Maybe the clock Miss Sonia saw was the one that got tampered with.
The clock inside Grape House?
No, I checked all.
Oh, that's what I asked you to do. So you.
And because of that, I can.
If there's no possibility that
Please believe me.
then
I never misunderstand.
What's it? Logic dive. The answer is obvious. They changed all the other clocks. Come on, what is the time in the building? Whoa! Oh, that was fun bit. Question 2. Which clock was tampered with? The building's clocks. You know, they just wanted an excuse to show off the epic snowboarding track their intern came up with. Hey, both houses had the wrong time. Ding.
It's all coming together. You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
What? All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it.
I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks.
So that's what it was.
This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More important.
Same problem. It was 2 hours. Think it's that one?
If it...
Oh no, that's the wrong one.
Then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
Nope, dang it. I should
If
have.
the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be in our time?
Are there any clues that can be used to know? If only I heard the sound when he fell.
I agree with that.
Really? That's. I don't know. That seems like a very awkward wording for it.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell.
Rumbling? I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep.
Well, a huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear the impact sound.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge. What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well. That sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
You probably didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
I could not sleep at all.
There's nothing to worry about.
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference,
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning.
Huh? You can tell?
I instantly woke up and left my room. Excellent work!
It's 2 hours.
I see! Nekomaru's alarm went off at 7:30, and if we heard the sound of his impact at 5:30, that means our time was off by 2 hours.
2 hours? That much?
We were starving pretty badly. There's no way we would have noticed.
Yep.
Plus, the Funhouse has no windows. And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what
the reason is obvious. So they could lure out just Nekomaru. If you messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's
Use a specific thing.
I see!
Then Monokuma Tai Chi.
That's it. The killer made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Great, but if they mess with all the clocks inside the building, what?
We wouldn't be able to attend on time, but that wouldn't affect him.
Yep.
His radio clock had the exact time.
That's right. In doing so,
Then, when I witnessed Nekomaru,
if I recall, and if that time was also 2 hours off, at that time, he was heading over to...
I see. Now that I think about it, I realize.
Yep.
Too early.
Everyone to digital.
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time.
Ah, jeez. What was it?
Are you talking about?
Wrong! That's not it!
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. The number of suspects has...
Drastically decreased.
Why would that decrease? You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what... Huh? What? You witnessed Nekomaru.
Yeah.
are you talking
Alarm?
a little while after I witnessed Nekomaru? Plus, it was just before that. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an out...
Really? Was there anyone who...
The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty...
Which means that person does not... Who is it? Who's the...
If you're asking me who doesn't have an alibi for that time period, we already it's gonna make me choose him, isn't it?
You're the only one!
I don't think he did it.
The one who wasn't there.
That's right. It was just me, Gundam, and Fuyuhiko.
You didn't come out, even though you weren't in your room.
If that's the case,
Please. If you don't hurry up and...
If I may, even if I wanted to go to...
You couldn't.
I mean,
Not only did I not hear...
However, it is obvious that I did not... But I did not hear the rumbling sound either.
To be honest, it's not just... I was in a pretty deep sleep. It wasn't that. I
Couldn't hear it. What is
the
that?
deluxe rooms.
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common. And I'm sure you'll figure it out.
But wait. Wait. Gonna be another Handmaid's Gambit, but it's the deluxe room. There we go.
I got it!
But the other person but there was one person who did come out who was in a deluxe room.
Nagito, Sonya, and Chiaki. If I recall,
Are completely soundproof.
The reason we could not...
That's right. It was because the deluxe... You actually noticed that. Nice catch. Now then, you guys must...
Hold on a...
Why?
I did not expect him.
you're the only one!
Because he was the one with the fourth deluxe room.
Gundam, there's something I want to ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, You rushed over there too.
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings,
Why were you able to hear it?
hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it,
Gundam?
There is only one possibility. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room.
Gundam.
Gundam probably couldn't return. Me? After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left
Yeah.
earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Nekomaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode.
In order to do that, the kill... Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru...
And once they tried to go back,
In their original plan, the kill... And they were supposed to stay in their room.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound.
Just like
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, because... So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
But why'd you come out? You should.
If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two, that would have been the worst possible outcome.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms, how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko said,
Gundam?
Answer me this, including myself. The answer is 10. That means I had 5 times the...
"Is that you, bastard?"
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence. At the time, I left my room to go to the... That's right. That...
Are you saying it was just a coincidence?
And yet, I'm being suspected by...
I see. Well, you don't have to admit it. So, why don't we just go... hold on. You know how this class trial... is going?
Hey!
Perhaps I should say, just a boring farce. Seriously.
What? Nagito. At some point during the investigation... What? What actually...
Well, let's just leave that.
Please hold on!
But he's completely shut up.
Gundam!
I was... In fact, I shall deny the very... Since the... Based on your... I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor from there, after returning to... Although going to and fro is busy enough...
I see. The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator. Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the Grape House side. If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House. For these reasons, it's an...
And what's wrong with that?
if the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Straw, which means...
Are you serious?
Okay. What do we have?
That-
No.
the only means of travel between the two houses. As long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House...
Since I was at Strawberry House, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already? That
Wait.
elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses.
Oh wait, no, wrong one.
As long as that elevator was your assumption
Plus, the elevator broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to...
Since I was at Straw, there's no question that the following crime is
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already?
There we go.
That elevator was the only means of travel.
No, that's wrong.
There we go. It wasn't actually.
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist!
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
And
You're the only one! Nagito, you should know.
Yep.
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
I showed up.
There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show off. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I open it... Surprise, surprise!
Meaning the third floor...
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead...
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
Oh god.
However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
There's no way they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you... if you value...
There's no way I can stop.
Good. Don't make me angry!
Okay. Battle showdown. Wire.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Oh wow.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is annoying.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Come on, there we go. Oh my gosh, we've advanced.
I already proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to at least pray to the key which dwells in the light! Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! if you don't want to drown in the maelstrom.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Ugh.
The wire used to string up Nekomaru's body, the hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there.
Since those items were used in the crime,
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a, but there's no reason to waste any more time on the. Hey! First of all, by messing with the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably thanks to that. Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was, but surprise! Gundam was.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry,
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the. Through this, Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower. There's no way he could fight head-on with the robotic Nekomaru, so by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him.
Hold on! You don't mess with me! Don't mess with me!
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
You fools! Do not under. Ha! You make me laugh!
I don't understand anything.
It appears maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot.
What?
It's obvious! I'm going.
are you saying you still have more?
Your words. You said I pre. However, that button was on.
It's not easy to get the drop on.
It's even more difficult.
Just as I thought. Truly. If you.
That's wrong, Gundam. You're the one.
Such a. Listen well. I should first. You must provide a reason that will. You.
Okay. Panic talk action time.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! Show me the cadaver! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! For the Tanaka Empire! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! It's Nekomaru's back. Do you really think I can get behind him so—
This is the end!
There we go. Hamsters.
Even if you didn't get behind Nekomaru, you should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck. As long as you had the power of the hamsters you keep with you.
Oh?
are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?
Yeah.
Of course that'd be impossible for a normal hamster, but it would have been possible for Gundams. In fact, we saw that with our very own eyes, right?
Press the button.
Now
Yep.
that you mention it, one of Gundam's hamsters retrieved the piece of... Hey, with your friends, to secretly get one of them behind Nekomaru,
How about it?
Not just myself, but I have.
Admit it?
It appears I've a fine. Then you must trample me under victory can only be built upon a Now, trample, pull the curtain strings of this world.
Closing argument. I get to do. So I do get to do the closing argument part. Here we go. Yep. That's already on there. Talk 3. Last stock. Bank hammer, and
Here's
we're
everything
done.
that happened in this case. Let's first go over the many tricks that... First, they destroyed the contact elevator. This separated Nagito and the others in Strawberry House. Next, they lured Nekomaru out by himself by turning back all the clocks in the Funhouse by 2 hours.
Yep.
Additionally, in order to secure an alibi and set the wall clocks along... After finishing their preparations, the killer went to Strawberry Tower with the necessary tools in hand. They obtained these tools from the Octagon, which you get... This means the killer discovered the secret of the Funhouse faster than anybody else. That secret being Strawberry House and Grape.
Yep.
On the morning of the incident, Nekomaru woke up and headed over to Grape Tower for a specific reason. There, Fuyuhiko, who was at the lounge according to Fuyuhiko's testimony, by that point, the killer had already messed with our... In actuality,
Yep.
That's also the same time Monokuma Tai Chi begins. Nekomaru went... However, because the contact... So he decided to try going to Strawberry Tower. But the killer was waiting for him there. With the power of hamsters, they were able to press the good night
With the
button
power
on the
of
back
hamsters.
Nekomaru's neck.
That's not a line you normally would hear anywhere.
This forced him to enter sleep mode, rendering him immobile. From there, the killer began preparing to use the ultimate weapon. First, they set the alarm in Nekomaru's chest to 7:30 a.m. so he'd wake up. Then they tied him up with a metal wire, tied the tip of the wire into a loop, and hung it on the doorknob. After leaving Strawberry Tower, the killer then destroyed the door button to Strawberry Hall. They did this to keep us from entering Strawberry Tower, and to keep us from discovering the secret of the building's structure that they used to kill Nekomaru.
Yep.
Then, they used the secret octagon passageway to travel to Grape House. After arriving at Grape Hall, they pressed the button to open the door to the tower. When that happened, the elevator and Nekomaru's body was still in. The killer entered Grape Tower to see if there's... and placed a hammer on the floor to look like the weapon then wrapped a chain around the back door. This was done to
Oh,
make
the
us
hamsters are
falsely
silhouettes
believe
too,
we couldn't
yeah.
enter the tower from Strawberry Hall. With this, the killer finished their setup and tried to go back to their room using the secret passage, so they could craft their alibi when Nekomaru died from the fall. But something unexpected happened. Fuyuhiko, who saw Nekomaru earlier, was still at the lounge. As a result, the killer couldn't return to their room, and with no options available, time ran out. The lounge's wall clock alarm started ringing at 5:30. Well, to avoid a worst-case scenario, the killer was forced to appear in front of Fuyuhiko with the others. When the wall clock's alarm rang, that was also the same time Nekomaru was waking up. He woke up while he was still hanging upside down, so he couldn't help but sway his body powerfully. Originally, the loop of wire was only supposed to slip off the doorknob, but because there was a heavier load than expected, the doorknob ended up breaking. Nekomaru fell from the 4th floor all the way to the 1st floor. He crashed into the pillar, which decapitated him on impact, and died. The sound of Nekomaru's impact echoed throughout the funhouse. However, by this point, the killer's plan was about to fail, thanks to the broken doorknob and Fuyuhiko. Meaning, the killer is someone who wouldn't have heard the alarm if they were in the deluxe room. They also wouldn't have been able to return to their guest room, because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge. That someone is Gundam Tanaka. I can't think of anyone else but you.
I'm...
Splendid. That was splendid. For a mere human, you did quite well.
Stop. Stop it already. Stop using weird words to avoid the truth. Or I'll friggin' kill you myself! I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe. You killed Nekomaru? I cannot believe something like that!
You don't wish to forgive me? Do you feel regret? Then finish it! Cast your impure votes for Gundam Tanaka! My beloved, deadly foes, let the voting time begin!
Well... Hey, it gave me... I got my first A. I got my first A in these trials.
Now then, please, who will be chosen? Please, crap! I bit my tongue at the most important part!
Yeah, no one really cares about you, Monokuma. Not really. Last trial is over.
Yahoo! Yaha!
Gundam Tanaka.
Nice!
Now then,
Doesn't mean the incident is over.
jeez.
Fall, my tears. Listen well!
Correct.
How pitiful.
Our lives without fighting him.
Fine.
Right, that is no mistake.
This, too, must be the will of causality.
You.
Let's make history.
Or the secret of the funhouse. Happened. Face to face. Call for help.
That is
Let me tell you this.
Huh?
This would have been even more complicated.
I can see it!
Could it be?
Sensing even my subtle killing intent, as expected of you, Nekomaru.
This scorching, stinging, tense atmosphere. I've been a team manager for so long, I'd nearly forgotten this. This is great! What a comforting atmosphere!
That's a great line.
And what is your reason? Do you intend to resolve this situation by killing me?
I am the Warlock, Gundam Tanaka. I need not cling to any trivial reason.
You'll drench your soul with in response to your spirit? I won't go easy on you. Don't waste your breath on cowardly tactics. Give me everything you got.
Nekomaru Nidai, your
That is...
Great.
Let me tell you.
One of them, you're just waiting until you finally.
You weakling! Fall, my tears. If you flinch, you will... Let me ask. Fine. Listen well. I shall engulf this world. I renounce you!
You.
But
Damn it.
Fine. Fall.
Oh. You...
Let's make history.
Did it once.
Well?
You didn't sacrifice yourself for our sake, did you?
My name is Gundam Tanaka. Fade like dust in the wind.
Is that it? Oh, jeez.
Yes, indeed.
Please wait! I beg of you!
Huh?
I beg of you!
How pitiful. Fine. What is it, my four dark devas of destruction? Are you worried about me? Oh, my feared four dark devas. However, there is no need to... I was simply visiting for a moment. That is why. Pride! Let us laugh uproariously! That is Gundam Tanaka! I shall stick with my evil until the very end! Open sesame pandemonium! I shall fill hell with true hell!
Boy.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I... Really? What? That. Hey.
Damn it. Damn it! The worst.
Oh. You are right. You are right.
Oh, jeez.
Hey! Hey! Wait!
Now then.
Hey, hey!
It's not like that.
Like they said.
Hey, hey. Right?
That.
Well... Damn it. It's obvious.
Jeez.
Kuma appears!
Now then.
What's this? What's the matter? Hmm?
Well,
Hello.
Hey.
I really need to ask you.
Hmm?
Information about 16 people.
Say what?
You don't even know? Isn't that right?
I was created of Speak Academy,
Of
right?
course.
But...
Who knows?
Hey.
Hmm?
Well,
My point.
right?
You already know who the traitor is.
Hmm? You're getting all riled up. Hmm. No, no. Shing!
Is the Evil Future Foundation. Not entirely true.
Huh?
Hey,
Yeah.
Right?
No, no, no. Unbelievable.
Well,
Hmm.
you're right. Huh?
Like.
Oh my gosh.
well,
Say.
You don't know?
Oh, wow.
Hey. See?
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
That's...
Oh boy. And we've got, what, one more chapter left? Alrighty. Well, everyone, that brings us to the conclusion of this trial. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and yeah, we'll be back next time with the beginning of Chapter 5 and dealing with the aftermath of everything that happened here. So, until then, everyone, see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.